You don't need to be as strong as a Viking to enjoy Valheim. However, having that strength and a few friends by your side might help you survive and navigate this fascinating yet unforgiving world we are in 2023. Then there is no shortage of options when it comes to survival crafting. Games Rust continues to be on a tier, and Nomad Sky seems to get a content loaded, updated every month. Also, with all of those options, you might have missed out on a particularly interesting title from February 2021. It's called Valheim, and while it wears the trappings of a common survival crafting game, its overall experience is much greater than the sum of its parts. I go to spend a sizable chunk of time with this functionally endless game, so let's talk about what makes Valheim a wondrous adventure in this review. Valheim's core concept goes something like this. You take on the role of a player customized Viking warrior who has been bested in battle before you could gain passage. Through the peace and rest of Valhalla you will make a stop. Often Valheim, this beautiful realm, is full of danger, mystery and endless possibilities, and you will need to bend the nature of this world to your will in order to survive, as you might have guessed. That's easier said than done. Valheim is developed by the Swedish indie game developer Iron Gate Games and published by Coffee Stain Publishing, which you might recognize from their God Simulator series. This is Iron Gate's first and only project for the moment, and judging by the amount of content that has been added since the game's original releases, Valheim is going to be in a very similar positions to No Man's Sky in a few years. But before we get to the latest additional content, let's talk about the core gameplay loop. When you land on your own personal traditionally generated Valheim world, you are completely defenseless, no clothes, no weapons, all you have are your fists and a limited pool of stamina. To defend yourself from aggressive animals, your first order of business is punching trees until they explode and generating up some rocks, so you have the very essential resources you will need to begin your crafting journey. The process of gathering these resources is initially tedious, but once you craft a stone axe, these processes speed up and you roller coaster to progressing. So the game begins with a stone axe. You could chop down trees and mass and use those raw materials to build a shelter. Valheim's building mechanics has just enough depth, from what I have seen, with a host of different pieces that fit together Lego style and can be arranged and placed however you see fit. I found the base building mechanic to not just be a fun, creative exercise, but also critical to my progress and survival. In order to create a new spawn location, you need a bed which needs to a roof and a campfire burning. In order to function properly without those things, you will just respawn at the beginning shrine, which can set you back quite a bit if you have traveled deep into the Eastland and into another biome before you died at some point between getting that first eggs building, a rudimentary shelter and fighter, the game's first boss. The stag spirit known as Aether. I was taken aback by how beautiful the game is. The starter biome is called the Meadows, and it's comprised of thick dense forests as well as open spaces with rolling green hills. Valheim's art style is very specific, as everything including the player character takes on a low poly PlayStation 1 style appearance, but with added shaders, bloom, lighting and depth of field effects that make the entire game look fantastic and much more advanced and modern than its character models might suggest. Light shafts form so the spaces between three brushes and forests, and moonlight gleams of rocks and wet wood during evening rainstorms. But as beautiful as Valheim is, it's also just as dangerous. Either did not pose much of a problem as long as a contained amount of distance is maintained, but once you mount the head of that creature as a shrine which gives you a buff that corresponds to its nature, you then move on to the next biome, the Black Forest. This is where most of my play time up to this point has been spent. The increase is in difficulty between the meadows and the Black Forest is actually staggering. Just about all of the weapons and armor you crafted in the meadows is all about useless against the expanded roster of enemies that include things like skeleton warriors, new more powerful varieties of the grey, dwarves you fought in the first area, and even massive trolls that crush you flat with a single smash.